Hello, everyone. Tokumbo Talks is the first person today beating Shegun Fatuma to it. Lola Shurunke is the next one. Bose Fayajola Toye Onagbesa. Welcome, everyone. Good morning to you. Good morning. Lanon Adebayo, welcome. Good morning. Akim, good morning. Kina Sperman, good morning. Kenneth Amobi. Shami, Chris' wife, always a blessing. Thanks so much for your words in US. Okay, US. Wow, that means you guys are not sleeping. 2:30 a.m. in the US, I guess. Morning, Pastor from Ireland. That's from Idowu. Then Damilare, Teresa, Aline, Bobby Stewart, Justin, Udemba. Kike Moronkeji. By the way, Kike Moronkeji, you know, the letter you sent to me last night, or was it this morning? I just read it this morning anyway, about how that couple bought their property in London. Even though it's a long one, but I think it will be a blessing to a lot of people to read that story. So if you can post that story or paste that story somewhere here in the comment section, I think it might be a good thing to do. And title it, make sure you title it that house a couple bought a house, or how a couple bought an apartment or a house in London in 2 years. So people would know that what I'm talking about is actually doable. Even though these people only practice like maybe 10% of all the principles I'm talking about, but they were still able to buy their house in London. So people must know that that's actually, these things are real, even though they didn't even practice most of the principles. They just practice a few of the principles, but that's enough for them to get a house in London or a home in London. Okay, thank you, Kike. All right, here we are. So please, will you go and share the message and share the link? Let's go back to our share button. Go to your timeline and look under your video and see where you can share the message. Please go share the message if you don't mind. Go share the message, okay? Let's go share the message. Go share the message. All right. So, Father, we thank you for today. This is a wonderful day today. We bless everybody that has come and that is going to come. We pray that you will visit them, you cause them to hear your voice, and you cause your voice to come clearly to all of us, that you will be ministered to directly and individually, and that our eyes will open, and that we will become a better human being, better persons, better men and women after this teaching. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, now that you have shared, I think it's about time to go. All right, so the topic this morning is going to be slightly different from what I talked about last night. The topic this morning is, the process is as important as the result. The process is as important as the result. The process is as important as the result itself. Where do I begin this? Where do I begin this lecture with you? Where do I begin to tell you about this? The process is as important as the result. You know, the way the world system has been set up is such that many people don't want to go through the process anymore. Most people just want to get the result. It's like we are all more interested right now in the final result than we are interested in going through the process. Most people think that the process is boring. The process is boring. And we just want to have the end result, that's it. Yeah. Have you heard of people using drugs, steroids and drugs to enhance their sports results? People don't want to go through the training anymore. They don't want to go to the gym. They don't want to go to, through the rudiments of. They would rather, instead of going to the training, they would rather take the steroids. They would rather take the drugs to make them have muscles. You know, there are drugs right now that will make you as if you have muscles, but your muscles are really weak and you're not strong enough. So they only enhance your performance for a certain period of time. And then, you know, it backfires. Then your muscles begin to drop and your flesh begins to be sloppy. So, yeah, because that's what happens when you are more interested in the result than in the process. But what I'm saying today is the process is as important as the result. The process is as important as the result. Where did I get this from? That story that we've been referring to every day this week, I'm talking of the story of the talent, where the bad steward brought back the talent, the one single talent he got, he brought it back. He didn't do anything with it. And of course, Jesus rebuked him, God rebuked him. And one of the lessons we'll see in there is that God wanted him to go through the process. Even though he brought back the original talent that he got, but he didn't go through any process. He brought back the talent, yes, but he brought back the talent without doing anything. He brought back the talent without doing anything. So he brought back the talent, but you know, he had hidden the talent and he just went and took it out and took it to the master. So he brought back the talent, but one of the major failures of this man was that he was not involved in any process of production. He was not involved in any process of making things happen. And you know, by the end of this message, you will discover that processes are important. Processes are important. And God is a God of process, not just a God of result. You know, it's amazing. Yeah, everybody that is watching us, if you can look at the comment that was just posted now, the comment was posted by Kike Moronkeji. Check out that when you have time. You can, maybe at the end of the message, you can check out on that post, on this comment. He's talking about a couple that were able to buy a home in England, in London, you know, just using some of these principles that we spoke about. So in 2 years, they got the house mortgage free, and yeah. So you might want to look at that story and check that story. So God is a God of, not just a God of results. God is a God of process. God is a God of process. God is a God of process. And sometimes that seems to be unbelievable, because God could produce any result at any time. It would have been easy for God to just you know swing his arm or wave his hand and get any miracle he wants, because we are more inclined to use magic, to use a magic swag and get whatever we want. But God doesn't always behave that way. God is interested in the process, and God wants us to always go through the process. God does not want us to jump the rules. He doesn't like it when you jump the process, when you jump the queue. He doesn't want you to jump the line. So there is a blessing in process. There is a blessing in process. And as a matter of fact, the truth is that the process itself has almost an equal or even a more significant meaning than the result sometimes. So the process is as important as the result. In some cases, the process might actually be more significant, more important than the result. So in the case of this, so God does not behave like a magic wand. God does not behave like a magic wand. So in the process of this, in the case of this man, the man that brought back the talent, God wanted him to go through the process because the process is good for him. But the other guys who multiply their result, the reason God commended them was not just because they had more result, not just because it turned 5 into 10 or it turned 2 into 4, but because they actually went through the process. So why is the process so important? Why does God want you to go through the process anyway? Because the process gives you more than the result gives you. The process gives you more than the result gives you. When you go through the process, like for example in the case of that man with a talent, if he had gone through the process of going to study about money, about investment, that process of studying itself would have empowered him. That process would have enriched him, and that process itself would have changed his mindset, would have changed him into a better human being, into a better person. But because he preferred to be in his comfort zone, he did not bother to study, to go and get knowledge. He didn't go through the process of seeking for knowledge. He remained who he had always been. He didn't become better. Another thing that the process does for you is that if that man with the talent had gone to sit down and think and plan of how he could increase and multiply the talent in his hand, that process of thinking and planning would have enriched him. That process could have added value to him. But because he would not go through that process, he was only thinking about the result. He was only thinking about the result which he did not want to deliver to his master. So he was only seeing that the master wanted to get more results from him. The master wanted to double his income through him. He only saw that the master kind of wanted to gain from him what he had not sown. So when you are focused only on results, then you miss out on the blessings that processes give you. And another area where this man, was at a loss because he didn't go through the process was that if he had done research, if he had done investigation, he would have discovered that there were people who could have taken the money and used it and then give him some percentages of it. Like Jesus later said, that he could have taken that and give to the money lenders, and they could have given him some reward on it, some percentage on it. So which means that because he did not bother to go through the process of research and process of searching, he could not discover new things. So it is process, which is when you are involved in a process that you discover new things. And another thing that process could have given this man is that his unwillingness to go through the process of preparation to prepare himself into getting better result. He could not change himself. He could not change his mindset. The process of change comes when you are involved in a process of production or when you are engaged in one process or the other. So processes are important. Now let's come back home to you and I. When God says that you must be faithful in little, it is not about the little or much that the problem is. God is not too particular about the result being big or small. God has everything, more than enough. He possesses all the universe. He is wealthy, he is rich. He is not in need of your much or little. But he wants you to be faithful in little, not just that the little will become big. Because some people will say, well, I've done this thing over the years, I've done this, I've tried this, and nothing has really worked. But maybe you did not get the result you wanted. Yes, maybe you did not have whatever you have tripled or doubled, or maybe you did not see any end result or any multiplied result. But just by going through the process itself, you are already a better person. So when it says to be faithful in that which is little, that word faithful is not just about the noun. It's not just about the end result of that you are praised or that you are commended, that you are faithful. That word being faithful in little is not just about multiplying the little. That word being faithful is an ongoing process. Faithful, be faithful, he that is faithful in little. That word faithful is talking about a process, because faithfulness demands time. Faithfulness demands perseverance. Faithfulness demands patience. Faithfulness demands endurance. Faithfulness demands stamina. So it is that whole process of you going through things while you are faithful, or to be faithful, that thing is rewarding you. That process of being faithful is actually giving you more than the money you will get at the end of the day, than the result you will get at the end of the day. So when it says be faithful in that which is small, when you are being faithful and you go through all the process of faithfulness, you will discover that whatever result you get at the end of the day, whatever reward you get at the end of the day in cash, does not really compare to the reward that you have gained in self-transformation and change. Now, let's go back home. Let's come closer to you. Let's come closer home. Now, when God says that anything you have, you must make plans for it to increase. When God tells us that we must be faithful in finances, when God says that we must be better money managers, to manage our money better, it is not just about the money. It's not just about you multiplying the money. Because sometimes when you listen to this, my teaching, you could think that this is all about the money, and that this is all about finances, and that this is just about you increasing your income. But what I'm really talking about, yes, involves that. That is the end result. But you should not be carried away only by the end result. You shouldn't be carried away only by the end result. The end result is important, yes. But the process of you getting to the end result might even be more important. So for you to be trusted with wealth and with riches, you must be willing to go through the process. For example, when I told you that you need to begin to save 30% of all your income, 30% of all your income, that will take you some process, because the process of saving 30% of your income will demand that you will sit down and reassess your spending. That reassessment of your spending is already a change process. When you sit down to say, okay, what do I cut from what I've been spending? If I've not been able to save more than 10%, even some people have not even been able to save 10%, then you want to ask yourself, okay, how do I go from saving 10% or to saving nothing to saving 30%? What do I reduce? What do I cut? That is making you to think. That is making you to change your habits. That will make you to change your approach. That will make you to change your worldview. That sometimes will need to make you to cut your coat according to your size. And that will mean that you will cut some of your demand, some of your lust, and some of your expenses that are not always the priority. And that means you have to fix your priority. You have to change your priority. So that whole process of, it's as if it's just a little thing, of saving 30% is huge. It's not just huge in the fact that you are able to save the 30%, but it's huge in changing your mindset, in changing your attitude, in changing your reactions, in changing your approach. So the process you get involved in change, just saving 30% alone would have changed you a lot. For example, it could have changed you from being wasteful into being more responsible. It could have changed you from buying things you don't need into becoming a better steward of your own resources. It would have changed you from, not valuing what you have into actually beginning to value what you have. So what am I saying? I'm trying to say that the process is as important as the result. Sometimes the process might be more important than the result. Sometimes the process might be more important than the result. So let's say you have now saved 30% of your income. Then the next thing you need to do is to begin to be on a lookout. Maybe to actually be on a search. Search for what? You search for opportunities. What are the opportunities where I could invest this money in? So that process of searching for business opportunities, that process of researching, that process of being on the lookout for opportunities, that process is changing you too. That process is changing you. Because when you are researching and when you are searching, you are getting to talk to different people. And one of the greatest discoveries for me about, not just being a pastor, but also, getting to do some business and, to get into investing and getting to learn about money and, and teach about money and actually, explore money, is that I discovered that the process of discovery and the new things that I discover, they have enriched me. They have made me a better person than when I was just a pastor and I was only reading the Bible and only going to church to preach. But when I started getting involved with business, talking with business people, just the process of it and just being involved in it and just, discussion and the talk, even if it doesn't end up with money, even if it doesn't end up with, finances in your pocket, but the result of just interaction, the results of learning, the result of changing, the result of talking to people, learning new things, that itself is a result. That changes you. That changes you. So some people say, well, okay, I can save, but I don't know what to do with it. Begin to look for something. Begin to search. Maybe you look for opportunity of businesses that you could do. Because then you are the master of your own trade. You are the master of your own life. If you look for business yourself, it's much better than if you put the money in someone else's hand to invest for you, or if you just give your money to somebody who is going to be going through the process. The person who is using your money to go through the process is actually more than you, because he's learning as he goes, he's growing as he goes. So the process allows you to grow, and process allows you to learn. And process allows you to change into a better person all the time. So that's one of the real great blessings of business. And not just business, even if you don't have time to do the business yourself, or to trade, or to sell, or to look for opportunities that you could take advantage of. Even the process of going to look for partners, business partners, or the process of looking for shrewd businessmen that you could trust with your money, that you could invest with or invest in. That process itself that process itself is enriching. That process itself is enriching. So keep on not just being interested in the result, in the end result that you will get, but keep on searching, keep on talking, keep on looking for something, and that will enrich you. Abi Kosh, I see your comments. I want to tell you, I didn't forget you. I didn't even forget your husband, and I'm going to be back to you people this week. But this week has been a incredibly busy week for me. So, but I'm going to try to get in touch with you guys. So don't think I forgot about you. I didn't forget about you. I'm going to find you this week or something, maybe next week, but I'm going to get back to you. Well, so what I'm saying is that The process is as important as the result you will get at the end of the day. Unfortunately, many people are deceived to thinking that it is only the result that matters. Many people get thinking that, what matters at the end of the day is the result they get. But no, the process you go through in getting to get the result you are getting is also important. I don't know if you have this problem in your country, in the country where you live in, but in most developing countries, people have this problem. And even here in the Ukraine where I live, people have this problem. And the problem is this. There are some people that will go and buy diplomas. Or people will go and buy diplomas or fake diplomas or buy their certificate. Have you heard of that before? Did you ever hear of the fact that people buy certificates and diplomas? Yeah, people buy diplomas. People buy certificates without going through the rigors of schooling. So people will go to some market or to some, fake, what do you call it? People who just, what do you call them? Fraudsters. They will go to some fraudsters to make papers for them that they have finished university or that they have finished their master's degree. And they will have the paper, they will have the certificate. But you know what? Why is that bad? That is bad because when you get this, when you have the certificate and you don't have the knowledge, you've not done yourself good. You've not treated yourself well. You'll be unfair to yourself, and it will backfire. It will backfire sooner or later. So the process is more important than the result. And just imagine if you go and buy a result, if you go and buy a diploma or certificate in medicine that you have finished medical school, while you actually did not finish medical school. Do you know how dangerous that is? They will take you to go and practice, and when you begin to practice as a medical student, as a medical doctor, you begin to kill people. You become a mass murderer, and then you go to jail. I read in the newspaper, the internet, just maybe 2 days ago, that they arrested a certain doctor, or so-called doctor, in a Nigerian hospital. He was running a hospital without a diploma, without a certificate, because he didn't go through the process of education. But he wanted to have the benefit of a doctor. He wanted to have the clout, the praises, and the salary of a doctor. He wanted to have the end result, the benefit of a doctor without going through the school. And medical doctors have to go through school for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years sometimes. But this guy did not go through the school. He did not go through the rigors of education. And he thought he could just get, a way of getting the result. He got the result for some time. And he was practicing for 10 years without a diploma. But, Nemesis caught up with him at the end of the day. He was caught and he's in jail right now. So you will pay higher price whenever you try to avoid the process. Whenever you try to avoid going through the process, you end up paying double price. So it's better to go through the process of learning, to go through the process of changing, to go through all the process that you need to go through to be able to get the result. Don't jump the line. Don't jump the rules. Don't jump the order of things. Make sure that you follow the rules. Anyway, so one of the reasons why God punished that man, the man with the talent and who returned his talent with 1 talent, is that he didn't want to go through the process. Anybody that would not want to go through the process and is only interested in the result will eventually be punished. You know that most of the fraudsters that give schemes and financial schemes and float financial schemes and whatever we were talking about yesterday, 419, Most of the people who play 419, they play 419 normally on people who don't want to go through the process, who want to get results without going through the process. They want, most people that get duped because they don't want to go through the process. They just want to get the result. And so the fraudsters use that to blackmail you, to swindle you. So they swindle you because you want to go get the result without the process. And that's one of the most popular cases of fraud. They defraud you when you want to get something for nothing, or when you want to jump the rules, jump the line. So, and there is always punishment at the end of the day when you don't want to value process. Now, I remember I had a story like that because I remember when I was growing up in Africa, I had an uncle that I learned this lesson from, of going through the process in a hard way. You know, because it was a successful man. He had lived in England for maybe 20 years or something. He lived in England for a long time and came back to Nigeria. And he bought a big house. He had a very big house. And, and he was always serving all Western stuff. And, he was wealthy, well-to-do. He was a banker. And he had all kind of stuff in his house. And, he had all, So we young guys, we like to go to his house and to enjoy some of the things. And he was very generous. And, so we enjoy being in his environment. We enjoy being in his environment. But whenever we show up, I mean, because we used to come to his environment, so he doesn't have gardeners and he doesn't have cleaners. He always calls on us to come and clean his house and to come and clean and to come and mow the grass and all that. And then and the floor, we had this cement, this concrete all around this compound. And it will, because the concrete, because of the rain coming down, it gets dirty and the color changes. So it will give us, some some rags, and tell us to shrub the ground, the floor, not of the apartment but the street, the compound. And each time we did that work, we could begin this work, mulling the ground and shrubbing the ground and the floor, maybe from 10 o'clock in the morning to like 6 in the evening, for about 8 hours. And when he comes back in the evening from work, he goes around and looks and says, "Why? What have you done? You've not done a good job. This is a very bad job. Come and start again." He always made us to work all day, and he will make us to do and repeat things and redo them. He makes us to go through the process of making sure that we do quality work. I was so meticulous. We thought we had done the best we could do. By the time he gets there, he sees what we have not done right. He will make us to start all over again and to repeat and do, and washing the floor, carrying water, basket of water, bucket of water, doing, cleaning the floor and all that. But I used to hate him. I used to get angry at this man and say, what is the problem here? We've cleaned it. It's better than it was. But this is floor. How can you be cleaning the ground? Cars will be coming to pass this floor. To pass through this compound. Cars will be riding on it. Everybody that's coming to the house are, bringing dirt on it. What's the sense in doing all this? We did not understand the process of excellence. The process of excellence. But, without the process of diligence, there is no excellence. And without the process of excellence, there is no reward. There is no reward. Or your reward is cheap. Your reward is not well rewarded. You are not valued high. So, when you have someone in your life that is making you to do things and redo them and, and demanding perfection from you, he wants you to fall in love with process. You better value that kind of person. Because later on, when I became a man of my own, and when I had grown up and I've traveled abroad, I discovered that the only thing that is really necessary is the process of quality, the process of excellence. There's nothing more important than the process of excellence, because the process of excellence determines the price of your good. The process of excellence determines your end result. The process of excellence determines the price, the price that people will offer for whatever you produce. And I see that in my country, Nigeria, where I come from. Somebody will build a house of maybe $1 million or $2 million, but when you enter, you will see that the wall, the finishing is terrible. The finishing is terrible. And that is because the old culture don't value process. They just want to quickly finish it and say, oh, okay, we finished. And then they just do the facade and the outlook and make sure the out is looking nice. But they don't make sure. You could go to the toilet. You could go to the toilet and you see that the water is not flowing. Or the water is just flowing halfway and it's not enough to flush everything away. Or you could go to the restroom and find out that there is no paper there, no toilet paper. All kind of people don't know how to, go through process. They don't know the importance of process. They just seeing the result. Oh, we have a big house. That's the result. But the process of excellence, the process of diligence, the process of maintenance, the process of, making things work, making things really look nice, people don't value it. And if you don't value process, you will always be sheep. If you don't value process, people will value you sheep. If you don't value process, if you don't respect process, people will not respect your end result. If you don't respect process, it's just like saying, okay, this is my book, for example. Why do I print my books in America or here in Europe? Somebody said, maybe you print your book in Nigeria. I said, I have problem with their qualities. Have you ever heard people talking about quality? The reason why we complain about quality is that people who have bad quality, they don't value process. They just want to have the result. So when I have some books printed in Nigeria, but when you look at it, it's always worse than the ones that are printed in Europe, even though they have the same machine. What is the difference? Same machine as in Europe, the same machine in Nigeria. What is the difference? The attitude of valuing process, the attitude of honoring process. You must learn to respect process. You must learn to respect the process of whatever you are doing, and that is the problem that I have seen with people from Africa and people from Nigeria. People could be good in what they do, but they are not paying attention to the details. It is the details that shows that you are a person of process, that you value process. But sometimes we are just interested in the end result. We don't want to pay attention to the details. But details are important. Details are important. Even Jesus God was a man of process himself. God was a man of process, and he showed that to us. So whatever you do, if you really want to have real result and good result, you must pay attention to process. It is your process that determines your result. It is your process that determines the quality of your result. And it is your process that determines the value of your result. It is also your process that determines the cost and the price of your end result. You remember that in Genesis chapter 1. In Genesis chapter 1, we see God in the process of creation. You see that God was creating and he said, let there be light. After he said, let there be light, the Bible said he saw that was good. But later on, he went back and looked and examined the light that he had produced and discovered that there was some darkness in the light. So what he did was that he separated the light from darkness. So what does that mean? God was, he was interested in the process. So he didn't just say, let the whole earth happen. If he had said, let the whole earth just be created, it would have come to creation in one day. Why did God need 7 days to create? Why did God need 7 days to go through that 7 days of the process of creation? Because God wants to teach us about process. He knows that process is as important as the result. The process point talks about diligence. Process talks about excellence. So when God said, let there be light, he went back to examine what he had created. Even though light was good, but he discovered that the light was not good enough. Because he discovered some darkness in light. And so because he was going through the process of re-examining what he had produced, and cross-checking, he was going through the process of cross-checking what he had produced, he discovered that another product could actually come from the light that he had originally produced. So from let there be light, he now produced and came to another product, which is separation of light and darkness. And it is during that process of separation between light and darkness that he discovered another product. And the discovery he made is that, the light could actually be the day, while the darkness could be the night. So because he was going through the process of cross-checking, of upgrading, of diligence, of checking quality control, he discovered another product. And the product is light, day and night. So we now have day and light because God was interested in the process. Then the same thing he did when he separated between the firmament and the earth and the waters. So because he separated, it was detailed enough. It was meticulous enough to separate between the firmament and the waters. Then it was after that separation he discovered that, okay, we could have another product here. And the product is, let there be heaven and the earth. So, and when he separated heaven and the earth, then he kept on separating. He kept on examining what he was doing. He was interested in process. When you are going through process makes you a better person. You become a better person because you go through process. So after he had separated between the heaven and the waters on the heaven and the waters on the earth, he discovered that, wow, we could actually separate the waters from the earth as well. So then that's how we have ocean, sea, and the land and all that. So the process is important. I know a lot of people from my country who say, I'm not a person of details. I'm not a person of process. Well, it's because we don't value it in our culture. It's because we think that the process is not important. We think that the details are not important. But they are important. They are important. God himself is a God of process. And you can see that in many things. Okay, for example, why should when Jesus healed people, sometimes he will heal them instantly, but sometimes he will ask them, do you believe? Do you have faith? Why? He wanted to take them through the process of actually believing. He wanted to take them through the process of actually having faith. Not that he couldn't just do it and just heal them. Sometimes he will even tell them, go show yourself to the priest, or go swim in some place, or go wash yourself, go do this, go do that. Why? The process is important because he knows when they go through the process. For example, the lepers, he told them, go and show yourself to the priest, and only one came back. So in the process of going to show themselves and all that, some of them were carried away, and God was able to see their heart that way. But after going through the process, only one came back to say thank you. The process really separates, because the ones who got healed, the result did not change them. But the process of going to come back to say thank you, and that is what has changed that man that came back. And that God said, okay, you will not just be healed, but you are saved. Your faith has saved you. Has delivered you now. So, process is important. So the process of saving money is important. The process of looking for a topic or business, and the process of doing business itself or multiplying money itself is also important. The process is doing you good. The process might even be doing you better than the profit or reward you are getting. Sometimes you might not have the reward that you are expecting or the profit that you are expecting, but if you have worked with all your heart, if you have put your whole heart into what you have done, you will have discovered that you have become a better person, just thanks to the fact that you are going through that process. So even if you are going to look for a partner, a business partner, or you are going to invest, that whole process of talking to that partner, that whole process of identifying the partner, that whole process of investing money and see how that money grows, that whole process is also changing you. and making you a better person. So when it comes to money making and being faithful in money or in little, you need the process. Don't shy away from process. And some of the reasons why, like that man with one talent was not, willing to go through the process, but it was because we all like our comfort zone. He was in love with his comfort zone. He didn't want to leave his comfort zone. And one of the reasons that some of you are not doing business, or you are not having a side business, or some residual income, and you are not multiplying the little you have, is because you don't want to leave your comfort zone. You are comfortable being a white collar worker, or you are comfortable just doing what you are used to doing. Comfort could be deadly. Comfort zone could be deadly, because comfort zone doesn't want you to go through the process. You don't want to read what you need to read. You don't want to go through the process. You just want to have the end result. I remember maybe these people are watching me right now. A couple here in Ukraine. They needed help because they were having some financial challenge, and I promised to give them some money to just help them get rid of their problem. Then I discovered that actually these people had skills. So each time, and what I like to do is that I would like you to say, even though I'm willing to give you the money, but I know if I just give you the money, I'm not helping you, because I am giving you the result without making you experience the process. Okay, if I give you $1,000 and you have not gone through the process of making that $1,000, you have not experienced the changes that happened to me and in my life as a result of making $1,000. You have not gone through the changes in worldview, the changes that I went through by going through the process of making that $1,000. You will miss it if I just give it to you. And if you don't go through the process, you will need another $1,000 tomorrow, and you will not know how to get it because you have not gone through the process. So the process of working for whatever you are getting is important. So I told this couple, I told them, I'm ready to give you the money, but I see that you have skills, you can write. Let me give you some work to do for me. Go and write some things for me. And then they were very happy. They said, okay, we also didn't want to. But some people will be angry. There is another person from Nigeria who wrote to me and said, I want you to help me. I need this amount of money because I need to publish a book. And I said, oh, good. So I will give you the money, but I will even give you more than you requested. I will give you more if you will use your talent. What do you know how to do? Tell me what you know how to do. I will give you some task or some work that will make you to go through the process of making that money. It's not because I don't want to give them the money. I already have the money to give them. But I know if they don't go through the process and I just give them the money, they are not changing. They have not changed. Getting the result in your hand is just like saying somebody says, I will give you your certificate. I will give you your medical certificate without you going through the 6 years of medical school. And they just come and give you the medical certificate and you didn't go through 6 years. They have not helped you. Even though you have the medical certificate now, but you have not changed. You have not become a doctor. It is the process that makes you to become a doctor. It is not the diploma that makes you to become a doctor. So the process of going through that 6 years in medical school is what changes you, changes your mindset, changes your value system, changes your attitude, changes your character, that is the change that you need. It is actually the change that you need. The change that comes through the process is even what you need to become a doctor. What makes you a doctor is not a diploma. What makes you a doctor is not the certificate. What makes you a doctor is actually the change process that has occurred to you or with you, or the changes that has happened with you over the years when you are in that medical school. So it is the change process that is more important. That's what qualifies you to become a doctor. It is not the result that qualifies you to become a doctor, but the changes that has taken place in you. And that's what process gives you. That's what process gives you. So when people are asking you for money, and when people are, begging you and letting, asking you for money for nothing, by doing nothing themselves, it's not helping them. Make them go through some process that will make them work upon themselves and become better people. That's why when you give people money, have you ever had a situation like this, when you give somebody money or you help someone and you did so much for them, and at the end of the day they even get angry at you, they even come and accuse you? That's what happens when you do the process for people, when you go through the process for people without letting them go through the process themselves. When you pay the price for other people instead of them paying the price for themselves, they don't go through the process of change that you go through. So, sometimes we think we are helping our family members, or we are helping our children, or we are helping our family or our friends when we do things for them. And, doing things for people is actually preventing them from the process. When you do things for people, you are actually shielding them from the process. And if you shield them from process, then you are shielding them from the changes that are supposed to happen to them. You are shielding them from the change that is supposed to happen to them. And without the change, without the transformation, people don't become better. People don't become better. And if people are not becoming better, they are as bad. They remain who they are. And, their lives is not transformed. And, and they will come back and stab you. They will come back and be ungrateful to you. They will come back and be dependent on you. They will come back and become your parasite. So the process changes you more than the result. The process changes your mindset. The process changes your paradigm. It is the process that causes you to grow. It is not the result that changes your paradigm. It is not the result that changes your worldview. It is the process of getting the result that changes your worldview. It is not the result or the diploma or the money that you get that causes you to grow. It is the process you have to go through to get that money that causes your growth. And another thing that process does for you is that when you are going through the process and you have to suffer and persevere and endure, it creates in you some perseverance. It creates in you stamina. The stamina to pray. The stamina to work hard. The stamina to produce quality products. That all comes by going and enduring the process. By going through the process. Not by getting the end result. And it is when you go through the process like that your worldview is formed. Then that's when your inner content is built. That is when you become a person of value. That is when you are formed to be a person of dignity. That is where your value system are created. When you are making mistakes, when you are failing and you are standing, the process of falling and standing, the process of failing and starting again, the process of stumbling and getting up again, the process of failing one time, two times, of learning. That process changes you and makes you a better person. So some of the reasons why God will not give us the blessings that we are asking for, because as a Christian, I hear all kind of prayers people pray in churches. 70%, maybe 75% of all our prayers is a waste of time, and God will never answer them. And I make bold to tell you that today. A lot of the prayers we are making in churches is a waste of time. You can quote me on that. Because most of the time, the things we are praying about are things that God is expecting us to go and act about. The things that we are praying about are things we are supposed to act on. The things that we are praying about are things that we are supposed to go and work for. And God will just neglect those kind of prayers because we want to get results. Why do we pray most of the time, really? Most of the time we want to pray, and we are praying because we want the result without the process. And we are hiding behind prayers. We are hiding behind religiosity. We are hiding behind church. And some churches even encourage you to pray for everything. Because, you want to have magic. You want to have a magic wand. So we are turning God into magic worker. We want to avoid the pain. We don't want to go through the process of pain. But nothing changes you like pain. And so that's why 75% of our prayer will never be answered, because God cannot be manipulated and God cannot be bribed by your prayers. So instead of you just, and some of us, one of the reasons why we're giving all our money to men of God and for seed offering, prophet offering, this offering, double portion offering, what do they call it, first seed offering, and all that, is because we don't want to work. It's because of laziness. Because we want the men of God to pray for us without us having to work, without us having to struggle, without us having to pay the price. We just want, we just want to avoid the process. And God is not like that. God himself goes through the process. Even Jesus said, I must walk right now when it is still day. Even though because my father walks up to now, because my father is walking, my father is going through the process, I too want to go through the process. But if we had the kind of access that Jesus had to God the Father, we would have been asking him to just give everything to us without us going through the process. But Jesus said, no, I will not ask the Father. I will not even bother the Father. I want to walk like him because I see my Father walk it up to now. So I want to also walk like him. I want to go through the process. And sometimes this kind of messages that we hear in churches is that you can get something for nothing. As is that the process is not important. Just pray, or just bring that money, or just put your hand up, or put your hand on yourself. You will get something for nothing. So the idea of waiting for miracle every minute and everything is just, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So the goal and the result does not change you. It is the process that changes you. It is the process that brings progress. It is not the result that brings progress. What does the process do to you? The process brings out the best in you. The process goes down inside of you and brings out the best in you. The process knows how to get rid of your weakness. The process knows how to get rid of the things that are hidden even from you. And things that you are hiding from other men, processes know how to dig deep to them and unveil them. The things that you are hiding, the things that you don't even want to confront. Processes, by going through the process to get results, those things are discovered. And they know how to unveil those things and make you a better person. Only through process changes happen. Only through process you become a better person. So this is one of the reasons why the poor will always get poorer. Because most of the poor people, they don't want to go through the process. Most of the poor people want you to just give them something, to bless them, to give something to them. And God will not bless that. Even if you give them something, they will not value it. They will just waste it. So money really is only entrusted to those who have proved that they are ready for it. And how do you prove that you are ready for money? You must have gone through the process. When you go through a process, that is a proof that you are ready for it. So, because when you are going through the process, you are exercising yourself in a lot of qualities, in a lot of discipline, in saving, in not touching money, in not wasting money, in not squandering your income, in multiplying your money, in investment, in learning, in knowledge. So process is the key to progress. Process is the key to change. Progress is the key to multiplication. Process is the key to multiplication. So always, try to look for the process of producing goods and services. And don't encourage people who want to jump the line and not go through the process. Process is what guarantees results and is what guarantees quality. Process teaches you patience. Process teaches you self-control. Through process, you go through quality enhancement. And then through all that process, you'll be able to manage better. Through process, you develop a maintenance culture. Through process, you begin to value little things. Through process, you'll be able to rule over money and resources. That's why God says you must go through the process of being faithful in little before much could be given unto you. It is the process of going through the little that determines if you deserve to have an increase or not. So process helps us to prove our stewardship. Process develops in you prudence. Processes gives you and develops in you frugality and shrewdness. So, and this explains why so many Christians and so many people are poor and they are not rich, because we want to just get end result, and that's why we are going to church to pray all the time. We are praying for end result. We don't want to go through the process. And God is not unfair. God is fair, and He will be blessing other people who are going through the process, while He will be passing you by who doesn't want to go through the process. Well, I hope you got something from today, that process is as important as the result, if not more important. So please write what you think about this teaching, please. I want you, while you are going to share the link, go share the link, but while you are going to share the link, I want you to tell me what you think about this teaching. And one thing I feel like saying again is that some people don't like to work for free, because they don't know that the process of working for free. If you are working for free or working for someone else or helping somebody else for free, that you are actually gaining more. You are gaining more than the money the person will have paid you. I tell people who say they are unemployed or they are having little income, I say, go and work for free. Go and find someone who is successful. Go and find someone who could, add to you, add value to you, who knows more than you, who is successful. Go and just be helping them to do anything they want to do. Help them for free. Help them carry their bag. Help them clean their house. Help them, write their books. Help them do anything. And that's why it is important for you to join my transformation team to Nigeria if you want to. Because just being around Pastor Sunday alone can transform your life. Because the process of just helping or just being in the team can change you more than all your education has given you all this while. So for those of you who don't know, I'm gathering a team of 2,000 people to go with me to Africa. And so if you are feeling that God is leading you to do that and you want to join my team to Africa, I'm going to Africa by next year by the grace of God. And this means that this is not just to go there to visit. This is like to go to live in Africa at least 2 years, to go and bring about transformation there. You might want to write to me. My email is pastor@godembassy.org. pastor@godembassy.org. So write to me and let me know if you are interested in this African trip or moving back to Africa to bring about transformation in the continent. And also if you have not read the book, the process of reading itself could change you. You can get this book on Christian stores or Christian shops, and also, of course, you can find it on Amazon. And the Nigerian book also is on Amazon. So I want to hear from you. Let me hear what people are writing about what this teaching has done for you. What are your decisions? I want to hear your decision. I don't want you to begin to tell me, thank you, you are good, you are wonderful, or I don't need all that from you. Thank you, Pastor. That's not what I need. What I need is to know what is happening to you. Is there any change happening to you? Are you, taking a decision? Is there anything you are changing in your life? Those are the things I want to hear from you. Lanon Adebayo says, Pastor, I said this to my wife last week, that we sold into the man of God because we Christians are lazy to pay the price for walking in the anointing. We Christians are like the children of Israel who used to send Moses to talk to God for them rather than we going through the process of solitude. That's so true. Shidi Obinelo said, this is why I love the Igbo tribe in Nigeria. They can put in many years to learn a trade. Yes. Basil says, this is so true. Okay, Udo says, some people who went through process are very stingy. Yeah, they are stingy because they value their experience. They value the result they have today. Kike Moronkeji said, today I have learned that comfort is the death of creativity. Process is a necessity to yield a high-end, valuable product in demand. Process is also a refinement of an original thought and can be uncomfortable and painful. Yeah, that's why people prefer to buy Apple products than Chinese products? Why is it that people prefer to buy Japanese cars than Korean cars? Because the process of producing quality cars is amazing, or quality products. Therefore, I must recondition my mind that process must be a bedrock for the inevitable success of any product I develop. So I will not cut corners, but follow due process. That's good. I like the way Kike does her conclusion. You are a smart girl, Kike. You are a smart girl. I'm very proud of you. You are one of the few people that answers my question right. Felicia says, my tribe, on the other hand, will depend on others and not be wise with the help they hear. Abiodun Abraham is replying to Shidi that every tribe has something he is good at. Don't come here with fake ego, I beg. Listen and learn. Shegun Fatuma said, I need to look beyond my comfort zone. Okay, that's his decision. Yeah, that's good. Shadrach King Kwabla says, after missing 3 weeks of great teachings, thank God I'm here today. Pastor Sunday, God bless you for this great teaching. Thank God. Osheho says, I have made up my mind to go through the process in every job I do henceforth. Attention to details and culture of excellence. Yes, that's good. Lola Shorunke says, my decision is to no more be engrossed in the results of my actions, but to be excited about the process too, because it will allow me to think through and plan out my actions better, which will bring more value to me and my results, allowing me to discover new things through the journey. Most importantly, God is a God of process and excellence. That's good. Okay, Udo said, I learned through my profession by working for free, but today I have many employed under me than my former trainer. Brilliant. So he worked for free, learn some key things from his people, from his trainer, and now he's having the result. Cecile says, Pastor Sunday, you are already transforming my life. I cried during your teaching because it's like God was talking to me. Wow, that's good. Kate Imo Edeme said, a few years back, I was unemployed and then took on a voluntary job, and from then got a job I worked in for 17 years. I'm so glad for how you are teaching us to change our life. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Abiodun said, we'll only help those who are ready to follow a process. God will only help those who are ready to follow a process. Laurie says, the process indeed is the actual progress. Strive to always shake your heart's purpose with the Lord and look forward to the process if you really do desire the daily progress. Keep sharing. Keep sharing your guided knowledge. Thank you. Thank you. Felicia Folusha said, after today's teaching, I learned that I should encourage people to go through process rather than just giving them money. Yes. Shima Ajoku said, amen, Pastor. How can I follow your program every time? Because I love it. Oh, he said, I come out at the very same time. Like today in the morning, every morning I come out 9:30 a.m. Ukraine time. That is 7:30 a.m. Nigerian time and 7:30 a.m. British time, 8:30 a.m. European time, and that is 2:30 a.m. Eastern time in America. And every evening too, I come out every evening at 9 o'clock Ukraine time, 9 p.m. Ukraine time, which is 7 p.m. Nigerian time, 7 p.m. British time, and 2 p.m. Eastern time in America, and which is like 8 p.m. in Europe. Deanda says, I really needed to hear this. I need to focus on the process, not just pray God for help. Jake says, process is a learning classroom. Process unleash the inner talent in us. Process helps us to refine our gift. I will go through process with joy now. That's good. Tony Frank says process is always necessary. It teaches you to trust God, to have faith, and the Holy Spirit helps you out. Blessings from Guatemala, Central America. Suzanne Price says, I realize that I need to work harder and pay more attention to details than I thought I already was. Thank you. Well, my time is over. My time is up. And it was nice having you people today. And so let's meet tonight. I will be back tonight again. And I hope this was a blessing to you. Please go share the link. Go share the link to this program and let someone else be blessed as well. God bless. See you tomorrow. See you tonight. See you tonight. See you tonight. God bless you now. Bye.